Hello, hello and welcome everybody to our new format, the GSA Deep Dive. In case you missed any hype or clutch moments or just plain interesting races, we will make sure that you still get to see it right here. Now, in this episode, we will look at a match that happened a while back. And I talked about it a little bit in the October recap, the 120-star Invitational Bronze match, Dwhatever versus BlueBob. Now, a heads up before I get into this, Dwhatever's PB, if you don't remember, is a 141.59, and BlueBob's is a 142.35. So not too big of a difference. Would of course expect that it might be a close race, but you never really know what happens in a race, especially in 120. It gets kind of spicy, spaghetti starts flying around, it gets a little wild. A lot of times one player just gets destroyed by the game, these things happen. But this bronze match was a back and forth between D and BlueBob all the way through. As lobby is one of the hardest parts to get through, it's not uncommon that it doesn't go too well for runners in races. Of course. And that's exactly what happened here. BlueBob had a little bit of trouble in Womps, missing Owlus and the Canalus texture setup, then even slides off the Womp King. Whereas D got through Womps without too much trouble, but then did lose some time in JRB. That wasn't as bad as BlueBob's Womps mistakes though. Funny thing to mention, they were synced up in slide and got 12.7 at the same time pretty much, just that Dwhatever already had one more slide star done, which is pretty hilarious if you ask me. So he heads to Dark World, right, with a slight lead, but then the first lead change happens. D dies twice in Dark World. Are you kidding me? One quick death in the beginning, getting burned and falling down. It wasn't too bad. He was still ahead, but then died at the 6th red, which you just hate to see. People need to stop rage pausing in races. It loses a lot of time. Bob led all the way to basement after those mistakes from D, and Bob on Battlefield was solid for both players. They leave SSL with only being 3 seconds apart. Then Dwhatever ground pounds an HMC 100, falling all the way down, needs to ride the elevator, and also misses the red coin in the box afterwards. BlueBob running away further and further with that lead. But then BlueBob, while D had trouble with MIPS, BlueBob starts Vanish Cap and falls down 3 separate times. You gotta see it to believe it. After a second death, Dwhatever had already caught up, so with the third death, he actually had a demanding lead. D did some weird tree tricks during CCM Reds, not being able to get the coin, but keeps the lead going into Big Boost Haunt, and BBH started really good for D, but he factories at the end of BBH 100 and the lead switches once more. You can't make this stuff up. BlueBob, on the other hand, now, on his feet, hitting his stride at this point, only 5 seconds apart going into DDD, and D, speaking of DDD, a lot of D here, had a small opening in DDD. D had a faster strat in DDD 100, basically, and he popped off. And then in Fire C, it was actually insane how close it was. Like, if that isn't hype, then I don't know what is. Just look at that, okay? Look at that with your eyeballs, and then tell me in the comments that that wasn't hype, okay? Because I would like to know, because I am delusional. And it looked like D was saving more time in Fire C as well, but he was too fast to make the early L's and bonked, not trying to slow down, just taking the bonk and losing all the saved seconds from DDD. So 1 hour and 7 minutes into the run, going upstairs, only 7 seconds apart. That's insane for a 120 run. There were small mistakes from both sides in the upstairs stages. Dwhatever would make a small mistake, and then BlueBob would follow up with a different mistake, and the lead stayed around the same until Snowman's Land. BlueBob played overall way more solid than D, but it was still only a 10-second lead going into Tippy. And now, in TikTok clock, this is where the lead switches once more. BlueBob had some trouble with TDC 100 and the Pendulum Star, whereas Dwhatever did not, but those mess-ups weren't enough for D to catch up. And then BlueBob has a brain fart. He decides to wait for time moving, but still goes for the triple jump wall kick movement that you would normally do when it is time moving. Then falls down during red coins as well, and out of TikTok clock, Dwhatever has the lead. Get this. Around 6 seconds apart going into Rainbow Ride, Insanity, and that is not where it stops, ladies and gentlemen. Both started out with a really solid Lakitu bounce at 100 coins, and then it happens. Second Lakitu bounce. Both are getting it, and then, the Lakitu snipes Dwhatever with a spiny, and suddenly BlueBob has a huge lead. Are you kidding me? From that moment on, it looked like BlueBob would take it. But BlueBob suddenly messes up on the last star in Rainbow Ride, first falling down on the swinging platform, and then even dies when he almost had it. The tables are turned once again. I am getting dizzy thinking of how many times this lead has flipped, but it doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen, so let's keep going. Even D was slightly messing up and swinging in the breeze, but just barely made it onto the platform, taking the lead out of Rainbow Ride. Only 3 seconds apart going into Bowser in the Sky, coming down all to bits and throws. Unfortunately, BlueBob falls down in Sky in different occasions where Dwhatever did not make any noticeable mistakes. He hangs onto the lead, lands every single throw, takes it home, and they finish only 30 seconds apart. After everything that happened, it was still so insanely close in Sky. And this is quite early. With our races, pretty sure this kind of hype gets even crazier in the future. I'm not really sure. Somebody please tell me. Speedrunning esports, baby. It's happening, whether you like it or not. It's hype, it's lit, and it's crazy. And we are at the forefront. GSA, bringing it on. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Simply, and that is it. Have a wonderful day. Peace.